healing, salvation, and happiness. It's your season. It's your time. God has plans for your life to prosper you and to give you hope and a future. Join us and learn how God's love and power can bring hope and happiness to your life. This is your opportunity for motivation, encouragement, and purpose.
Welcome, everyone. It's Kathy with the Daily Gospel Network, where we bring you education, motivation, and information that's sure to improve and enhance your life. And this episode is sure to do just that. Let's take a listen to today's great segment.
And see what they did wrong, or who they were dating,
right?
And pick out some things. Ask some questions of your mom, dad, and grandma about their relationships and why they dated this person, why they're not together anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And see what type of answers you get. Mm-hmm. Some of them, some of them will tell you the truth, some of them won't. But between a combination of their answers, what you come up with your situations, that list should be pretty long for you to be able to date with some serious purpose. And so the next time that you meet someone, you should be able to go out on a date and be completely honest. So if that person tells you that they don't want kids and you know that you want kids, you're not going to continue to date them. You may friend them. You can go out and have some lunch and some ha-has with them, and that's it. You're not going to put them in the running, and you're not going to sleep with them.
Right.
And it's a waste of time. Mm-hmm. And then, because the moment you sleep with them, you end up getting pregnant. Then what?
Right.
Then you in that cycle. And that's what happens. And it's a continuous thing. And you're just wasting your time, and then you have a baby daddy that you know there's not going to be anything going on with that person.
Yes.
But a whole bunch of nonsense.
Yes, and along also with that, you possibly may have a soul tie. So that was my next question. Yes. What is a soul tie? Can you explain to the viewers what is a soul tie?
Oh my gosh, when you sleep with that I got a perfect example. When you are a person of faith and you go sleep with the absolute worst demon of a person, and now you are losing yourself. You were on the right track. You were going to school. You were going to work on time. And now you are with someone and you've slept with them and your souls now have intertwined and you are doing things that are really ungodly.
Yeah.
You are picking up their characteristics. Now you are late for work, you're late for school. You are not going to church or pulling up the service online anymore. And you're questioning yourself and you're questioning your faith. And because this person is an atheist or a shaky believer in the faith, and you questioning yourself and what you're doing most of the time. And you're stepping outside of yourself, but you're still hanging out with this person. This person is not good for you.
Right. And it seems like also it can hinder you being able to find someone because you're still drawn back to the old relationship, the old husband or ex-husband. I should say an ex-husband or ex-boyfriend. And it's like, you can't. That person is going to be in the way because you have him there all the time.
You can't progress. You can't progress in a new relationship. You can't progress in any situations in life. You can't progress because this person continuously sucks you in. Mm-hmm. This person is always there. This person won't allow you to date anyone else. This person doesn't want you. Mm-hmm. but this person won't allow you to be with anyone else. This person makes you doubt who you are, that you're worthy of anyone or anything, or even life.
Right.
It can,
You lose your
and that's where that,
integrity.
that's where that,
Yeah.
that paying attention from day one, what people do and say and how they treat you is extremely important. If someone's calling you out of your name and excuse me, and doing those things to you, that should be instantaneous. Oh, let me block this number.
Right. That's
Let me block
part
this
of
number.
the demons that you're gonna have, because of that, being that, having that soul tie. You're gonna have that you're gonna take on what that person has spiritually.
Yes.
The spiritual wickedness that he has, you know what I mean? Because, and you have to be delivered from it. Yeah.
I saw this happen to a beautiful spirit. She be absolutely beautiful. That this person never cursed. I've never heard her use a word of profanity. And all of a sudden one day she started cursing. I was like,
where'd that come from?
What happened? So the soul tie is true. Called all types of names.
Wow.
Under the sun from day one. That's why I say that paying attention is crucial. It's absolutely crucial. How they treat you, and how they treat their mother, how they treat other women in their family is very important to pay attention to all of that.
Right, because if there's some type of hidden hatred that you see, this interaction between the mother and the guy, you know what I mean? There's probably some type of hate that he has towards women. You have to look at how he handles his mom in conflict, you know what I mean? Because that's how he's going to probably handle you, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's real serious. Like you said, so really, like, dating is about gathering up data, you know what I mean? And so just like when you are applying for a job, you get data about that job.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a two-way thing. You want to know about the company just as much as they want to know about you.
Exactly, two-way thing. Exactly.
It's a relationship.
Okay, so everything has changed. Like you said, things are always evolving, they're shifting. So how we date or how we meet people, there we go. How we meet people has changed.
Yes.
The dating apps, the websites, you know what I mean? What do you feel about dating apps?
I've heard mixed things. I guess I've been fortunate to not have to go onto the dating apps. I've seen a lot of them. I've heard a lot about them, but I've never personally been on one. I found my mate prior to having to go on one. But I would say definitely be careful. Of course, always ask a lot of questions. Do a lot of digging, because there's so many ways that you can do your research before you actually physically meet someone to make sure you're meeting the right person. But I would say definitely try it out.
So you're not taking it off the table, like,
oh
right
no,
now.
I definitely wouldn't take it off the table. I would say however you can meet someone, go for it.
Especially because of the pandemic. Like, I was so like traditional in dating. Like, I was like, I wanted to happen naturally. I wanted to happen, in a, what's that called it?
An organic type
organically.
Of way.
There we go. Organically. And that has not happened. You know what I mean? But what I do like about the apps, you can kind of like what they're talking about, you can know whether or not you want to go ahead and proceed. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You know, people.
If the profile says, I just want a good time, swipe left, go to the.
Exactly. You know, I feel like people can hide on the dating apps, so they're either they're going to be one or the other way. Either they're going to hide how they really feel and what they really want, and they're either going to use some suggestive language and slide it in to say that what they want, or so 3 different ways. That suggestive language, to slide it in to say, okay, I want to sleep with you,
right?
Or they're going to come straight with it,
right?
Looking for a good time, that type of language. Or you're going to get on the other end that someone may be really looking for the love of their life. And I'm sure it's probably one that I'm missing, but at least those 3.
So there's categories.
Right.
And, you know, you just kind of got to filter through the right ones, you know, and just.
That's no different from you actually in person, because they're the same person. They're just, you know, online.
Right.
You know, I've had someone introduce me to someone, and he was a complete idiot and a liar. But I met him face to face, and this was before the pandemic. But he was still the same thing. So he could have been one of those online. So it was no different.
Was doing it online.
Right. So it was no different. He was still a liar. But I still had to go through all of it in person. He was still just sneaky, low down, conniving, same thing. But it was in person.
Right.
So I still had to figure it out.
You still have to figure it out. Like there's no easy way. You know, so do you recommend dating more than one person at a time? Because a lot of times, you know, those who are just kind of old fashioned, old school, they just think that they should just, and that was me, just kind of like meeting one person, you would get to know that person. And then I would find myself, well, I didn't meet multiple people at the same time too. I don't know why that happened that way. So it's not like I would be like against it. It's just that I didn't meet people at the same time, like multiple people at the same time. But what I noticed is that when I would have one bad, like, you know, as this guy I'm meeting or something, and it turns out bad, then I didn't really put forth an effort as much, you know, after that one person. You know what I mean? Perhaps if I had multiple people, you know, to choose from, or, you know, I could see, kind of gauge, you know, who would be worth my time.
What I recommend to, you know, friends or clients or whomever is that if you are absolutely single and you are in that whole dating frame, that most definitely you should, you know, talk to a friend or whatever you want to call it on that dating scene with more than one person. Get to know people. That way you have multiple personalities that you can see which one you like.
Right.
And whenever it gets to a point that, okay, this one is getting serious, you're all adults. You let them know, if asked, okay, I am talking to other people, because I don't feel like if you're going to dinner or a movie, it's not necessarily dating. When I called my husband when we first met, okay, you're my friend. It wasn't a friend with benefits. It didn't get to benefits until later. But we were just having dinner and drinks and just conversation. We were developing a friendship. I needed to get to know who this person was. So if you're doing that with multiple people, you're establishing a friendship and relationship. So as long as you're not crossing any type of boundaries with all of these people, then that's it. But as long as everyone is, if you choose to tell them, hey, no one's paying your bills, unless they are, no one's doing anything for you. You're going home, they're going home, whatever. However you establish it, as a single person, that's how you establish it. You're just going out and coming home having fun.
Mm-hmm.
But once the two of you get serious and say, hey, I really like you, then you cut the other individuals off.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can focus on that person and take it to whatever level.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it worked.
Another thing that most women have that are older, I would say, I guess late 30s and up, they've been told that men they don't really want women that are a certain age because they're set in their ways. So if you're like 50 plus, your chances of being someone pursuing you and they know your age might be a challenge for them because they think that you're so set in your ways. Do you think that we can maybe not be so set in our ways in a sense, or is it harder for us as we get older, in dating because we're set in our ways and we've been used to just being by ourselves and independent and whatnot?
So I know someone who is older, and she is actually beyond her 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't seem to have too hard of a problem dating.
Yeah.
She's actually in her 60s. She
Okay,
doesn't have
60?
a problem.
60? Do your thing.
She's 60 and fly, very
All
fly.
right. She fly with her 50. That's okay.
Yes, she doesn't seem to have a problem dating. I guess it's the way you carry yourself. It's your conversation. I think it's really your conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really what it has to do with your conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know someone else that's in their 50s. She doesn't have a couple of women that are in over 50. Because I'm close to that. Yeah, they don't seem to have a problem with the dating.
And so that's why you have to kind of watch what, have discernment of what you watch, because some things can make you stay in bondage, like your thoughts about, your value. Like it's almost like they try to make it seem like you depreciate because you're getting older.
You're older,
what I mean? And that's
I guess
the world system of how they put us, they put us in that type of category of we're too set in our ways. Nobody don't want anybody that's older. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
Right. I really think it's the conversation, how open you are. I mean, if you're too set in your ways, I mean, it could be, anything's possible. I won't say anything at all is possible. Because I still believe there's someone for everyone.
Mm-hmm. No matter what age.
No matter what age, it's just you have to get out of your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
And if people are stuck in dating in their own race strictly and not even a bit flexible, it may be a bit of a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly.
So, okay. So your book, Blended to Perfection, what was the inspiration behind writing Blended to Perfection?
People with that woe is me mindset, this happened to me, so I can't do this. This happened to me, so it's holding me back. It was, for me, it was, this happened to me. This is how I got over it and what happened next. This happened to me, and here I go again doing something else. this happened to me, and this is what I learned from it. This happened to me, and this is how I am now working through it. That was the mindset of that book. So many people let their, whatever has happened, it happened for a reason. As they say, God doesn't put more on you than you can bear.
Right. That's right.
So, whatever happened, it always makes me stronger. So
this is about the blended families though, right?
Yeah, it is. But I figured you had to know who I am, who is the Arthur, what happened to her, and then working into the blended families, because stuff happened to me going into this blended family. So it wasn't all peaches and cream. Yeah, I met the man of my dreams, but in that came 5 other beautiful children. So that wasn't, all peaches and creams for me.
Right.
So things happen. So it starts out with a little bit of my childhood and who I am and what made me the way that I am, because I'm not a very trusting person at all. So it talks about why I'm not trusting.
Okay.
Then I meet this person who I didn't let him in to who I was for a while. But when I met him, and it talks about kind of how I met him, then we bring these kids together. Now we have 7 kids together. And I went through some things with a couple of the kids, and along with my own children and them growing up. And then our business situation. So it talks about the blended family and then where we are today. So it's not a very long book, but it's intense, and whoever reads it should get hopefully some learning tidbits about it.
Okay, so you just kind of want them to learn maybe some tools, some things that you did that kind of helped.
Right.
That was actually, it helped to resolve some of the things that you were going through.
Exactly. That life is, it's not all peaches and cream, but it's what you make of it, how you deal with it, what you learn from whatever happened to you. You pick yourself up and brush yourself off and keep it moving.
Right. And sometimes it's so quick to just leave a situation, when sometimes maybe you have to just stay there and endure it. And then, like you said, try to find some kind of way of resolve, or, especially if you love the person.
Right.
You know what I mean? It can't just be, I'm gonna throw you away because this particular thing is just irking me. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Because before this relationship, I thought a few years before this relationship, I thought I had met the love of my life. But come find out, he wasn't it. And that was the first time that I had truly loved someone. And then I found my husband, and I'm like, wow, I really am in love. So I've only ever been in love twice in my life. But I've been married twice. So I wasn't even in love with my first marriage. Because
how do you really know it's love? How do you know that this time it was love?
The way I didn't respect my first husband. I didn't respect him. I didn't trust him because he couldn't lead me anywhere. I was the bully. I was the woman. I was the woman and the man of the house.
The alpha male and the alpha female.
Yes, that's right. He was a nice guy, but he was not a firm guy. He didn't have growth potential. We couldn't grow together. And I learned from that relationship, though. I learned that I needed someone that I could grow with, that I could work with, because I had big dreams, and I was determined to make my dreams come true. So I needed someone that I could communicate with, that would understand me, that understand my vision.
Mm-hmm.
They had to understand my vision and where I wanted to go and where I wanted to be in life.
Mm-hmm.
And my ex-husband was like, oh, she's never satisfied. Well, I'm thankful. I'm very thankful.
Mm-hmm.
But to him, I was never satisfied because I wanted to grow.
Yes.
I wanted more.
Mm-hmm.
I was always working. Like with him, I had 3 jobs. I was just always on the grind.
Mm-hmm.
Because I never knew that I was going to be a business owner. I never knew that I would be where I am today. But I just knew that there was something more
Mm-hmm.
for me, a bigger vision. But I knew I couldn't accomplish that with him.
Right. And that's where the compatibility has to be there. Like, they have to understand your drive, you know what I mean? And vice versa. And not to be in the way of the drive. If anything, encourage you in what you want to do. You know what I mean? Don't be that stumbling block.
Right.
To what I want to do.
Right. And that was the same with my husband's ex-wife.
Mm-hmm.
She couldn't understand the vision. She didn't have the drive that he had.
Mm-hmm.
So we married 2 of the same people in our first marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And we both wanted more. We were both workers. We both go-getters.
Right.
So that's another way that we are definitely equally.
And you should never have to feel like you have to downplay that. And that's the core of who you are. Why you have to downplay it? Why can't that, if anything, celebrate it? Because this helps us help us have a better relationship, right?
Yes.
So
when I come up with a new idea, my husband's like, oh my gosh, again, something else.
Right. But that might be the very thing that he likes about you. Like, okay.
It is, because he was like, oh my gosh, I never know what to expect from you. But he loves it. After he takes a couple of deep breaths, he was like, oh my gosh.
Right. So I'm kind of piggybacking on the dating again. Mm-hmm. Single women, what can we do to prepare ourselves for marriage? Because hopefully dating with purpose will eventually be married. You know what I mean? With purpose. Yes. There we go. So what can we do in our time of dating so we can transition into
I think for the women that are listening, if you are in a relationship that you probably know already that you need to get out of, go ahead and get out of that relationship.
Right. First.
Go ahead, work and get out of the relationship. If you are already single, work on yourself. Start dating yourself. That means spend some time with yourself. If you need a glass of Kool-Aid, some wine or whatever, have that alone. Get yourself some movie time. Get to know you and who you are, what you like, what you don't like. Reflect on the past relationships, what you like.
Hope you enjoyed this segment. Join us next time for another great episode. If you would like to find out more about this program and its sponsors, visit them on social media. Meanwhile, stay tuned to the Daily Gospel Network for another great segment.